Much if you were to make an office building but have no floors, ceilings, or roofs in it. And there's going to be a reason for that. I'll show you all in a little bit. And so it has your basic windows, doors, so a little staircase over here, and this is what's going to be a bathroom down here, and then a little mechanical room. So first what we can do is go into level 1, and let's define those rooms. So instead of just hitting the room tool over here, let's see how many rooms we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's say we have 2 conference rooms. Two bathrooms. And that leaves us with 8, well, 7 offices and a lobby. So rather than just hitting this room tool, what we're going to do is go to the Analyze tab, and we're going to go to the Schedule/Quantities, and go down to Rooms, which is about 3/4 of the way down the scroll bar. Double click on that, and we'll add name. Well, actually, let's go number, then name, and then we'll go area. Let's say wall. Where are you? Wall finish, floor finish. We can go with perimeter. How we get to this? Go to Schedule/Quantities in the Analyze tab. It's right here. And then go to Rooms and double click on that. And the reason we're doing this is to eventually we're going to use all these different parameters to make equations in the schedules and quantities, which we can then use in our estimate. But right now we're just trying to get data on the room that we're using.
What's the last one? The
Up here? Oh, unbounded height. Can y'all see that clearly? Okay.
So then when you're in rooms with the building,
you double click on the rooms, and then it should have available fields on the left side, and you just add these different parameters. And then after we do that, we're going to hit the little OK button right here, and that'll bring up our room schedule. And so we can rename this to office building room schedule, or whatever you want to make it. And so here we can go to insert data row, and since we have 12 rooms, let's insert 12 data rows. And let's go through here and name it. Let's make our let's make our lobby. Bathroom 1. Bathroom 2. Conference room 1. Conference room 2. And then offices 1 through 7. Uh-huh. After what?
after renaming the table to office building, I don't know how we got these rules.
Oh, what we did, you see right here in the rows group, we go to insert data row and just hit that 12 times, and you should come up with 12 different rooms. And the reason we do this is because, say for example, we hadn't made the office building yet, if you are working with a developer or some kind of client or whatever you want in your drawing, and you're just coming up with the concept, and he says, I want 20 offices, I want a bathroom, I want a lobby room, I want a reception room. I mean, a lot. When I say lobby and reception room, and I want a kitchen or whatever. You can go through and you can make all your different rooms before you go draw your building. So that way, when you're going through and you're drawing your building, you can remember to include all the stuff you initially laid out, and you will automatically be coming up with the data for that. So now what we're going to do is this is actually right here in the schedules and quantities of the project browser, right down here. So all we have to do is just hit X and get out of that. And then we can go back to I'm sorry. You good? Do what? Oh, you don't have that? The project browser? If y'all don't have the project browser, just go to View. This happens all the time. And little user interface drop down, and go to project browser right here, and just check that. And it should come up right below this. That work? Okay. So let's go back to architecture, and we can hit room, and let's go back to level 1. I'm sorry about that. We can go to room, and we can choose the room right down here where we just made it in our schedules and quantities. So let's select lobby, place it in the lobby room. We can go to, let's say, conference room 1, place it here. Bathroom 1, place it here. Oh, I forgot the mechanical room. Office 1, office 2, and then we can go back up to level 2, select room again, go to bathroom 2, and then conference room 2, and just continue placing these down wherever you deem fit. And since I messed one up, let me go back and fix that real quickly. And because this gets a little cluttered as we go about continuing to design this building, and because it's a relatively small building, what we're going to do is just select this right here, go to filter, check none, check the rooms again, and just right click, hit hide in view elements, and that'll allow us, yeah, what I did, I just highlighted it all like this. Go to filter, go to check none, go to rooms, hit OK, then right click and hit hide in view elements. And that way it'll just hide it. In order to see those again, all you have to do is down here, there's this little blue light bulb, and it says reveal hidden elements. Click on that, and you can see everything. And all you have to do then is just select it again, go back to filter, check none, go to rooms, hit OK, and then right click, unhide and view elements. Just the same thing, just backwards.
So on your properties, how did you get the rooms?
Under which?
Properties on the left. Out of that.
Uh-huh.
You use that drop down box?
Like when we placed it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the room tool right here. It's in the architecture tab, the room and area group, and it says room. And when you go to place that, you have a drop down bar right here that has all your list of rooms. Yeah, another thing, if you just place a room and and it has nothing there, it'll end up in the schedule of quantities. And so what you're going to want to do is delete that row if you don't want that room. We'll go back and we'll go back up to level 2. Whoops, that's the ceiling plan. And we'll do the same thing up here. Just to clean up the drawing a little bit. Okay. Now, in order to do areas, it's the same thing as what we just did. I believe there's a zone. Yeah, you can do zones. Zoning is pretty much the exact same way we just did, and it's just a different way of looking at breaking down the building. Well, we're going to stick with rooms for this project. So, if you looked at the building in 3D view, you would notice that there are no floors, no ceilings, no roofs, no nothing. Reason for this is I wanted everybody to be able to see within the building, because what we're going to do now is start placing the structural elements in the building. So what we're going to do is go to structure and go to column. Right here, it's in the structures group of the structure tab. And as you'll see here, you have a W-shaped column. And here's the type of column. If you want to change the column, like any other component or family in Revit, you would go here to load family. This is architectural column, so you would not use that. You would go down to structural column down here, double click on that, and depending on what kind of column you would need, you would go into one of these sections. This is a steel type, so you would go here and you would pick one of the column types. But because we have one loaded, we're just going to place ours. But before we go and place them, what we're going to do is define the grids. And so we'll go to the center line of the wall and bring that grid up. I went to architecture and then go to, it's the datum group and grid right here. The grids will automatically number themselves as you continue to go up. So you see 1, 2, and this should be 3 and 4. And unfortunately, even if you delete one of those grids and you place another one, it'll go from 3 to 5 if you deleted 4. And then you would have to go back into the schedule of quantities and then delete the 4 out of there and redo it. It's a fiasco. I don't know why Revit does it, but that's how they decided to do it. So here's where we're going to be placing our columns for our building at the intersection of each one of these grids. So we'll go back here into structure and we'll select column, and we can place at grids and go here, 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 and here. Hit finish. And that'll make all 4. That only made 1. Instead of doing that, we can go through here, say column, vertical column, and then place it right at the intersection, because Revit will automatically snap to that intersection. And see here, it'll give you a warning that says it's not visible in the floor plan. We're going to remedy that in just a moment. So just continue to place your columns at the intersection of the grid lines. And after you finish placing them, you can hit escape twice. Oh, and I don't know if I've told you this, if you want to get off of a tool, just hit escape and it'll get you off of that tool. Now if we go to the 3D view, we got a problem. because they're all sitting up underneath the building. And obviously, we want them inside the building, inside of this wall. So in order to solve that, we're going to select all of the columns. And you see where it says base level, level 1? That's correct. But the top level is not level 1. We want the top level to be level 2. And we'll change this base offset from -9 foot to 0 foot and hit apply. And what that'll do, the columns are now, whoops, the columns are now where they should be within the building. Yeah, you highlight them, and the base level should be level 1, and the top level should be level 2, but the base offset should be 0 foot. Because what that's doing, let me see.
Isn't the top level should be level 3? Because you need the column for the 2 levels, right?
Yeah.
If you have the top level at level 2, it just stops at level 1.
Yeah.
Level 1.
I was going to place another column on top of that, but you're completely correct. I haven't taken structures yet. I apologize. So let's go. Actually, let's just go ahead. Well, actually, because we have no level 3 yet, we can't do that. So what we're going to do is make a level 3. So we'll go into elevations north, and you will see all of the grids here as well. And we'll go into architecture and go level and place the third level right here. And that's how you go about making all the levels in your building. It's just in the datum level. So let's go back to our model and bring this up to level 3 and make the base offset 0 and hit apply. And that'll bring the column all the way up in the building. But back to the base offset. Say, for example, this is the base of your column or base of anything really in Revit. When you're offsetting it, if it's a positive dimension, it will bring, say, if this is your column, it's an ugly line. If this is your column, for example, and this is base offset 0 foot 0 inches, if you want to bring it up, say 2 foot, you would do your base offset 2 foot, and it would bring the bottom of this column to like right here. Likewise, if you want to bring it down some and extend it like this, you can go -2 foot. This works the same way with the top offset, except top offset is flipped, so you would go downwards rather than upwards with a positive number. Okay. So now what we're going to do, thank you for that, by the way. We're going to go into the level 2 floor plan, and we're going to select structure again, and we're going to go to beam, and we're going to place the beam from here to here. And then we're going to place another beam from here to here, and here to here, and here to here. If we go into the 3D view, let's get rid of this. You will see that, let me get rid of the structure stuff. these actually should be down below this. Let's clean that up for 1 second. You go and select the whole building, and you go to filter, and you check everything but the structural columns and the structural framing, and you hit OK. And you go hide and view elements, just like you would the rooms. You can select things with a filter like that in anything in Revit. And now what we're going to do, we'll select them again and just hit the structural framing. And we're going to do the offset 0, 0. And it's going to bring it back to the base of level 2. And now what we're going to do is we're going to extend this into this column as it would be tied in right here, or welded in, I should say. And so we're just going to do that on the inside face of this beam or this column, and we're going to do that for all of the beams. Do what? Do it again. You just select the beam. You go to change reference up here in the join tools, and you got to zoom in, and you hit the inside face right here, and that'll make the beam go inside of it like that, as it would actually be constructed. Now what we're going to do is put some beams across here, and instead of doing it in a 2D view, we'll do it in a 3D view. And so make sure to check your 3D snapping right here. And you can go ahead and place it on here, on the tops of your columns. And they should show up just like this. And then we'll finish off here to here, and here to here. And then let's again change the reference to the inside of this column on both sides. And we have our basic framing right here. Now, let's go back to the floor plans for a moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the floor plan and hit duplicate view and hit duplicate. With the reason being, we're about to put the girders in, or the trusses, I'm sorry, along the structural beams, and so we don't want to clutter up the drawing. And so instead we'll make this copy a duplicate additionally of level 2, and we can right click and rename it level 1 structural and level 2 structural. Yeah, right. Have you already duplicated them? Okay. All you do is you right click on the level and you go to duplicate view and you go to duplicate right here. And then after you do that, after you've duplicated it, you just have to hit rename, and it should come up with this little rename view, and you rename it to whatever you want to rename it to. And so after we do that, we can go back into the level 1 structural plan, and we can choose truss. And there shouldn't be any truss families loaded into the project, so we're going to load one in now. And we'll go down to structural framing, and we'll go to, let's see here, structural trusses, I'm sorry. And we'll go with this Warren truss, and we'll hit open. And what we'll do, we'll make the bearing cord the top cord. We'll hit apply. And before we go place this, if you notice right here, I guess we have another person coming. There's a pick lines tool. And so in order to simplify things, since we want to space these out evenly, what we're going to go do is draw the lines for this. So all we have to do is just pick the lines as we go, rather than drawing it from one end to the other, because that's a hassle. So we'll go back to architecture. We'll go to model line, and we're going to want to make these 2 foot on center. So if you notice here, it has 2 foot 2 inches, so we're going to go over to 2 foot. Actually, let me place this along. Make sure this is touching your grid line, by the way. And you can type in off, OFF, to choose offset. Or you can go into the modify tab and choose offset right here. We're going to change this offset to 2 foot. We'll select this line, and it'll go to the right. And you should see little dotted lines to the right of it. If you highlight over it, just a little, they're real faint. And that's the side where they're duplicating the line to. Okay. Has everybody gotten that far? Y'all good? Everything good? Okay. And then we'll go into structure and back to the trusses, and we'll go to the pick lines tool. We'll pick each one of these lines, and it should come up with the same warning that you get every time you draw the structural stuff. If we can't see it in this view, that's okay. Just keep on selecting your lines. And now, after we do that, we'll go into the 3D view, and we can see all of our trusses here. Wow, they're way bigger than I expected. Give me 1 second. You know what? let's go back and select a different type of truss, because for some reason these are coming up really, really big, and it's not going to make any sense with what we want to do later on. So let's just go through and delete all these. But let's highlight these lines, and we can go ahead and move those if we go into the north elevation. By selecting just the lines and then going to the modify, moving them straight up, or they're actually in a reference. So we'll have to go to level 2 and just redraw our lines as we did here. And we'll just go through and draw our lines real quickly. And we can go back into structure, go to truss, load another kind of truss. Go with the 5 panel. Let's make this truss height, say, a foot. Go to apply. And we'll select our lines again. And after we do that, we'll go back in 3D view, and you can see that the trusses have been placed. Not real pretty. I don't know why they're coming up. I honestly do not know why they're coming up real thick like this. Let me get back to y'all on that. But for now, this is just how you place your trusses in your building. So we'll go through and we'll delete these, and we'll bring our walls back. And just go unhide and view elements.
Do you think they have create a separate family for the kind of trust we need? That might be the reason.
I can only imagine. So if you look at the trusses, let me go back here and hide everything but the structural elements. Oops. For some reason, it looks like they're making the trusses the same thickness as like the W beams in here, and I don't know why Revit's defaulting to that, because every time I've done it before, it does not do that. it should be um, the correct size. But I'll get back to y'all on that one. Okay. What I'm getting at, however, if we go into the 3D view and we unhide everything in here, and we were good to go make a floor, say in level 2. Let's go ahead and hide all these lines. Oops. And we'll go to architecture and we'll select floor. We're going to edit this type. First, we're going to duplicate it and just go hardwood. Go to edit and then get rid of this structure layer because we already made our structure. Delete that and say OK. OK again. We can go ahead and select our boundary, which would be just on the inside of the walls then. And if you notice, the floors are actually below the trusses. So what we're going to have to do is lower our trusses to below this floor. So in order to do that, let's go to the north elevation and let's select these walls and see exactly how much of a difference in height we have here. Okay. If this is our floor and the trusses are going up through them, it looks like we need to offset it the thickness. We have to offset the trusses the thickness of the floor. In order to get it below it, we have to offset it negatively. And so this thickness, if you see here, is 1.5 inches. And so we'll go through and we will select our trusses. And we'll offset them negative 1.5 inches on both the start level and the end level. Additionally, we're gonna have to have our beams drop 1.5 inches to accommodate the difference in height for the trusses. And I can tell you why it's so thick. If we go to, it made the girders on the trusses the size of our W shape beam. And so we're actually gonna have to change this out. And so we can go here and edit this type. We'll just duplicate it and just go with that name. And then make the width of this, say, 2 inches. Make the height another 2 inches. And now, let's see here. If we go through and we select just the trusses, or actually everything but the trusses, and the structural framing, and we hide all that, they're a lot better sized. Although this is not quite the right size. That's what you would have to go through and do that. Just select them and then change the type of girder within the truss. So if we go back into the 3D view, our trusses are still above the floor. So let's go ahead and drop our trusses 6 inches. I apologize for this, y'all. And we'd apply. Of course. Let's go through and drop them 8 inches. And the reason for this, the trusses are dependent upon a different girder within the family, and so the girder on these trusses does not match what it should be, and so it's thicker than the normal size truss. And as you see, the trusses are finally below the floor, and so what they are now, they're finally just supporting the floor as they should be. Now, let's change to some mechanical and some plumbing work, some mechanical, electrical, and plumbing work. So we're going to go back to level 1 floor plan, as we are now, and say this is the bathroom. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our systems tab, and we can go to plumbing fixture. And if you don't have a plumbing fixture already loaded in there, we can go to load family, go to plumbing, MEP, and then fixtures. And the reason we go, if you look back here, you have the choice between architectural and MEP. A lot of architects will like to put the architectural type in here because it's just easy to place in and you can get the right look for your drawings and you can make your drawing based off of that. However, since we're trying to use the BIM model for our estimating and our scheduling, inevitably, we're going to want to use our MEP so then we can check our systems and we can use the piping data and all that for our schedule and our estimate. So we'll go into MEP, go to fixtures, water closets, and just select one of the toilets. I went with the water closet flush tank right here. And since I already have it loaded, I'm not going to load it again. And we can hit spacebar to rotate it and place that right here in the bathroom. And we'll place 2 in here. Actually, we'll just place 1. A lot better. And we can go back to architecture, hit component, and we'll go to the base cabinets, make a small vanity right here in the bathroom, and within that vanity we're going to put another plumbing fixture, the sink, in it. So we'll go back to plumbing, MEP, fixtures, and we'll go to lavatories. We'll actually go to this lavatory vanity, and we will place this in the model. And we can get rid of this one. And if you notice On both the toilet and the vanity, it has both a hot water and cold water tap, as well as an exhaust tap for it. So what we can do is connect the pipes from our um, disposal system, as well as our hot water and cold water, to both the sink and the toilet. So we're actually going to go ahead and do that now. So we're going to again make a plumbing fixture, load the family, go to plumbing, MEP, fixtures, or I'm sorry, equipment, and we're going to go to water heater right here. And we're going to choose the larger one just so we can see it in our model. So when you select it, hit open. And it should give you an error message, and that's because Revit just has trouble with some families. So we'll go to load family in the insert tab. We'll go down here to plumbing, MEP, equipment, water heaters, and the water heater again. Actually, mine is messing up. Mine is not working with me. So I'm going to go to the seek and go to water heater. Actually, I can use the tankless. What am I saying? Let's go to systems, plumbing fixture, load family, plumbing, MEP, equipment, water heater, and then the tankless. Is a fiasco. We will go here and download this water heater. And what that'll do, it'll download whatever you look up to your machine. Seek is a place where you can download all kinds of files for your Revit model, whether it's architectural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, whatever you want. They have a lot of branded um, families here, and a problem with some of the branded families, they have a lot of data on them because, of course, if you're Delta, for example, and you make faucets, you're going to want to put every single spec in there about the faucet. Well, the problem you face with this, if you have 1,000 faucets in your model, in addition to all the other things in your model, it inevitably creates a huge file, and so you simply can't store all that data within your model and then transfer it and manipulate it and edit and all that stuff. So they're actually now coming up with standards for them families for the different models so that you don't have too little data and you don't have too much data on it. But for the A.O. Smith commercial, we're going to go back to the Revit model and we can go load family, and rather than just going in this Imperial our folder, I'm going to go to my file and my downloads, and it should have the water heater right here. For some reason, my Revit is having trouble with plumbing fixtures this evening, and so I will get back to you next class on that. Since it's 6:55 already, I think we can just go ahead and end the class for the day. But I'll clean this stuff and get back to you with the fixes for both the trusses and the plumbing. I don't know why it's having so many issues this evening, but hope you all enjoyed the class, and I will see you next Monday then.
Yeah. Can you email the files that you recorded?
Do what?
You are also recording the lecture, right?
Yeah.
Can you send the file also?
Yeah, I can see all the file.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
But the IFC file means we cannot import the IFC file. We can just link it, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the data will be it will be all split up, so you cannot do anything. You cannot. It will be just for viewing purpose.
I gotcha.
So
Then go ahead and download 2016,
yeah, that's what I'm
and you
saying.
can
Right?
get that in the students. It's just it gives you trouble sometimes. Yes, sir. Hey, nice to meet you.
I got a lame question.
That's
Like,
okay.
actually, I installed the 2014. I had
Mhm.
2014. I was trying to download 2016.